In order to get properly prepped for a 20-minute AMRAP, we're going to do 5 quality minutes of working with different movements that prep the body for the action later today. Now, let's have a look at Sval and Jeremy demoing the movement, starting off with our classic Kang Squat. For the Kang Squat, you're going to stand in your regular squatting stance, and I'm going to talk them through very slowly. First thing I want them to do is make a good morning, so they're going to hinge. If you look at the torso, it is now parallel to the floor. They're going to hold that position. But now the next position is going to be a squat bottom. So they're going to bring their hips down and chest up, and then they suddenly sit very upright. Then they go back into that good morning. So they shift their butt back. They hold that for a second, and then they extend all the way up. And now do it at a regular pace with the breaks. Let's go. Hinge, hold, squat, hold, hinge, hold, and extend. That is our Kang Squat. Now if you have knee issues, so you don't want to do that squatting portion, I just want you to do only the hinge and then just double the reps. So we're still warming up the lower body, we're warming up the hinging pattern, we're just ditching the squats in there. That is all fine, but I think even if you have iffy knees and you can make the Kang Squat, it is a great warm-up exercise. Good. Our second movement involves a set of bottles, so run to the fridge, grab the bottles, don't drink on the way here, and then start using them for the warm-up. So what I need you to do is, again, soft knees, hinge, let the arms just hang, long arms, palms are facing inwards, and now we're going to just make big circle towards the shoulder height and get back in. Rear delt raises, trying to tackle your back off the shoulder, get that fired properly, because it's the opposite there that we do in a push-up. It's nice to get that firing and warmed up before we get in all to the pressing that we have to do today. Rear delt rows, let's rest guys. Now what you can do there is decrease range of motion a tiny bit if it feels hard on the shoulder, or what might be even better is do it without bottles and then really do a hold in the end position of that rear delt raise. Now our third movement, already from the get-go, if you have balance issues, you want to stand close to a wall. If you don't have balance issues, you just stay there in the room. We're going to do calf raises on one leg. So let's have a look at that. We're going to have one leg in front or one leg off. We're going to press through the other foot until we're fully extended, and we slowly lower and we come back up. When we're extended, I mean we're going to try to extend the ankle joint here. So we flex the ankle, we extend the ankle. Very good. Raise up, and also make sure that when you go down, you don't just drop your heel on the floor, but you lower your heel under control, so your calf is still taking the break as well. We do 15 reps on one leg and 15 on the other, and then let's move on to our fourth movement of this warm-up, which will be a shoulder tap in a plank. So let's get in plank position, and from the start I want Sval to have his feet very close together, and I want Jeremy to have his feet very wide. Why? Solid base makes it easier, narrow base makes it a bit harder. And now you're going to take off the right hand, touch the right shoulder, left hand touches left shoulder, and you're going to keep doing that. You're going to try to fight everything that has to do with rotation. Good. Make sure the hips and shoulders stay in line. Solid. Easy shoulder tap. Let's rest. Now, if that is very hard for you to do, I want you, instead of taking the arm all the way to the shoulder, to just lift the hand off the floor a tiny bit and then bring it back down. Okay, it is time to actually start the warm-up, so I need you guys to get off the couch. If you haven't already practiced the movements yet, really be cautious in the first round to get everything moving perfectly, okay? Now, it's going to be just 5 minutes for quality. Don't rush through, set your smartwatch timer, and we'll start with you guys. So, I'm going to count you guys down. We're starting with 5 Kang Squats in 3, 2, 1, and let's move. So we start with the hinge. We go into the squat, we move back into the hinge, and we extend. They're actually both, Sval and Jeremy, doing this at the perfect tempo that I would like to see. They're almost in sync here, which is not a necessity, and it's very hard to do when you're alone at home to move in sync. But you can try to move in sync with Sval or Jeremy. Like pick the one you like best, or pick the tempo you can easily hit. All 5 reps are done. Upon completion of the 5, you move on to the bottles and you start doing your rear delt raises. So you hinge, you try to be as parallel to the floor as possible with the upper body. You try to keep the arms nice and long, and you try to work as much on the rear delt as possible. There you go, solid. Yeah, those are some very beautiful rear delt raises. Upon completion of the 10th rep, you're going to go to the one-legged calf raise for 15 reps aside. Sval is doing this with the balance stuff with it, meaning no assistance. Jeremy is assisting himself with a ball or with the wall or whatever you have at home. I hope you have a wall at home. It makes life a tiny bit easier. You move through 15 reps here, really pressing your heel off the floor firmly. Squeezing on the top for a quick second is never wrong. Then slowly lowering. Upon completion of the 15, you move on to the other leg. If you're wondering why we're doing calf raises in this workout, though it is because we're doing 20 minutes of an AMRAP with double unders in there. Now our last movement is going to be the shoulder tap in plank. Jeremy was a bit faster there with the wall. You can start, Jared, that's all good, bro. There we go. I like self-correcting. So you're trying to aim for touching the same shoulder as the hand coming off the floor. Now again, if this is very hard, you can also just lift your hand a bit off the floor. But for now, I think most of us are okay with pulling our hand to our shoulder here. Really fight the balance here in the plank. There we go. So that was one round. That took all 3 minutes. If you have the time to actually do another complete round instead of just staying in a 5-minute time frame, I would love you to do that. If you want to stick with us on the time schedule of the class, just go for 5 minutes. Before we get into Spindy, I have a challenge for you guys. You're going to set your interval timer, so your EMOM timer in the SmartWatch app, at 6 intervals of each 1 minute. Then during that 1 minute interval, the idea is to maintain a hold, an active hold. If you need to take a break within a minute, that is all good. But again, I challenge you to maintain the position for the full minute. And once you hear the beep to switch, you immediately move on to the other hold. We alternate between 2 variations, one being the plank and the second one being an active squat hold. So no passive sitting, just relaxing in the bottom. No, you're actively sitting as if there's 100 kilo on your back, or for some less and for some more. We're gonna start this one right off the bat with you guys. While Jeremy and Sval are doing this, I might explain a couple of things to you guys, what you can do if you need to scale this. So if you guys are ready, we're gonna start right off with this one. I have my timer ready at home. I would love you guys to just dive into this one with us. Don't think about, am I capable of doing this? Just try it and we'll see what happens. You can beat that word, Kev. Alright, you guys are ready? We're gonna start on the plank on long arms. It's gonna be a good fight. We start in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So hips and shoulders are in line. That is very important. If you really want to make sure that you're in a proper position, FaceTime another member and make sure they keep looking at your hips and shoulder line. They're corrected there. That would be a good one. You're still involved with other people in the community here. We're only 15 seconds down. An easier way of planking would be doing this on the elbows, for example. That would be an easier way of planking. Now I know we had a challenge in UnScared, I think it's about a month ago with planks. And I think Chris van den Nolle did an 8-minute plank. So while you're struggling for a minute, think about Chris doing this for 8 minutes. That was insane. We're 40 seconds in and we've got 20 seconds to go in the plank. And then we kind of immediately move to a squat hold from there. So I don't want you to ever fully stand up. Alright, 10 more seconds. And again guys, if it means taking short breaks, that is all good. And 3, 2, 1, and let's get into squat hold. Boom, active squat hold, solid. Here we go, yeah. Either hands in your head or hands in front. As long as they're not resting on your knees, I'm all good. Proper squatting position, try to hold this and maintain this for a minute. Now, like I said, if you're looking at this because you're gonna do it right after, I want you to aim for, hey, I have the injury, I can't squat. In that case, you can always pretend and go for a Superman hold, which means you're going to go flat in your belly with your legs together and arms forward. You're going to raise up your legs and arms off the floor. That is your scaling option for injury with the knees. But now I just want to see Sval and Jeremy fight here to the squat hold. They got 20 seconds left. I know they're feeling this, and that is all good. So once I say 3, 2, 1, they have to go switch to a plank hold, you at home as well. And while you switch to the plank hold, you can listen to me rounding this up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, switch. So they go back into plank. You should go back into plank as well, because this was just one round. You need to do 2 more rounds on your own. Good luck, stay and maintain strong. Pause. The workout today is Spindy. Spindy is a 20-minute AMRAP of 10 push-ups, 15 squats, and then 30 double unders. Your goal is to do approximately a round per minute, and that will probably become slightly faster once the workout goes on. Okay, that's good to know from the get-go. So what I want you to do with, for example, the push-ups is if you feel the need to today that you cannot do the push-ups in 2 quick sets, I want you to scale it down in volume to something you can still do in 2 quick sets. So for example, scale 8 down to 7 reps and do 4 and 3. Whatever feels good for you, that's what you're going to do there. Other scaling options we will show you once we start demoing the movements. Here we go. First movement is going to be that push-up. Small and Jeremy are going to go in their plank. First, regular plank. The feet are in line with the shoulder or slightly more narrow. From there, bending the elbow, chest goes to the floor, the entire plank moves down and press back up. Solid push-up, come back down, extend. Here we go. Let's take a break. Let's have a look at Jeremy's scaling. He's going to use his, whatever that is, to hang up on. Getting to his plank, on the toes, obviously, to keep as much pressure in the upper body as possible. Controlled lower, to the box, an object, press back out. Move solid. Let's go again. So Jeremy is actually a bit too wide for this chair thing that he's pushing on. So he actually wants a bit of a wider object. What he can also do, which he doesn't have to show right now, is going on his knees instead of on his foot when he's doing the plank and then do the push-up, which is also slightly easier. You can choose one of the two. I'm game with both. What he is going to show you is what you should do when you have an injury that's telling you not to do that pressing motion. That will become a shoulder tap in there. So you're in that, you're going to raise the hand up, touch the shoulder, you're going to come back down. So in the workout, this is going to be 10 push-ups, and then 10 push-ups will become 20 shoulder taps. So we still have the plank, and we still have some taxing of the shoulder, and that is what we choose to do for scaling today. Now, our second movement is going to be just a classic squat with just our body weight. So while they're going through a couple of squats, I'm going to give you my 4 simple pointers that I want to give you every time we do squats. You guys can start your squats. I always want to see a couple of things in here. So, number 1, heel, big toe, little toe, always pressed into the floor. Number 2, knees are tracking the toes. Number 3, we sit our butt on our heels. And number 4, we try to keep our chest up high when we lower our hips. Simple squats. Now Jeremy has knee injuries, so instead of doing squats, Jeremy is going to substitute the squat for glute bridges. Heels on the floor, knees in line with the hip. Pressing up through, squeezing his butt as hard as he can. He's trying to fold his hip around his belly button to avoid an arch, otherwise he's going to tax the lower back a bit too much. He's trying to squeeze his butt to get his hips up nice and high, load up the hamstrings on the way down. Now, our third movement today is going to be a double under. Now, before we show you jump rope movements, I'll tell you this. I'm going to show you double unders, 30 reps. Single unders is a substitutive movement in scaling, 45 reps. If you don't have a jump rope, you substitute 45 jumping jacks instead of the double unders. And then we'll show you the injury stuff. So first, Sval, Jeremy, you can stop for a second, is going to show you a couple of double unders. So he's jumping while the rope goes underneath twice, and he can rest. Good, Jeremy is going to show you some single unders. So the rope just passes the feet once, and as you can see, he's jumping with 2 feet at the same time instead of doing shuffle feet kind of stuff. Now, he has to do 45 reps instead of 30. If he cannot use a rope because he doesn't have a rope at home, or the people living below you don't find it very nice that you're jumping the entire time, you can also go for jumping jacks. Go wide arms, legs go narrow, legs go wide. Still get that jumping mechanic in there. Get some taxing of the shoulder with the arms overhead. Beautiful jumping jack. Now Jeremy has an injury that does not allow him to do all of that jumping. So what he does instead is does mountain climbers and then sticks with the 30 reps. So we want fast mountain climbers here. So we're going to have shoulders and hips in line, and then one at a time knees come in and they go back very fast. It's a bit of a core movement, but it's also jacking up the heart rate, which is exactly what we need. Thank you, Jeremy. It's exactly what we need with the double unders today. So those are the 3 movements, the scaling options for the level, and also scaling options if you have an injury, so you guys can all join in this workout. Time to get ready. Get off the couch. It is 20 minutes of an AMRAP, 10 push-ups, 15 squats, 30 double unders, as many rounds as you possibly can. And if you can't finish the round, get a couple of reps in at the end. We're going to start this one with you at home. So let's do this one. I have my timer set. I hope you guys are ready. We're going to start on the floor. I'm pressing start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And we move through 10 push-ups here. Beautifully executed push-ups. They're both going for the RX push-up here. And then they move right into their first squat. It is 15 squats. Nice, quick and deep squats. Again, guys, always aim to get full range of motion if you feel comfortable doing so and if it doesn't hurt you. Go nice and deep and stand it all the way up. Don't half-ass your squats, never do that. Upon completion of rep number 15, it is time to grab the jump rope and start on that set of double unders for Sval, 30 reps, and single unders for Jeremy, 45 reps. There we go. Both working on that rope. As long as a little trip, which is all good, he has to continue until he has completed all reps. So, they're working on their doubles and singles. Once we don't hear the ropes anymore, they're probably done. That's right now, that's good. That means they're gonna move on to round number 2. I'm gonna check, that took them approximately a minute. So let's see if we get somebody to do 20 rounds in this workout or very close to 20 rounds. I need you guys to continue and press pause.